Hello and welcome to our team. 2 years back I created a video where I showed you how to convert your Windows from legacy BIOS mode to UEFI, and that method was involving a program that was available since creators update called as MBR to GPT, and that program was converting your disks from MBR to GPT, and then it was creating UEFI partition. So today I'm going to show you how to convert your Windows from legacy BIOS to UEFI without actually converting your disk from MBR to GPT. And it is the undocumented way. I tested it, it worked for me. If it works for you, just post below in the comments that you tried this on which machine, which model, and whether it succeeded or not, so other viewers can get an idea whether this thing works for you or not. So without further ado, let's get started. So here I have the desktop where I have the fresh installation of Windows 10. It is having a 1909 version of Windows 10, and I'm going to show you over here is that first of all, let's see it's in which mode. So if I run ms info 32, you can see that this is having Windows installed in legacy BIOS mode. Over here you can see it's in legacy BIOS mode. And if I show you the disks, if I right click the start button and go to disk management, and there you're gonna see that I have only one disk, and inside that disk, if I just right click and go to properties, and on the properties window go on to volume, and they're gonna see that we have in MBR. So what approach I'll be following is that the first partition, that is the system reserved partition that contains boot configuration database, I will be formatting it to FAT32. By default it is in NTFS, and then we'll be creating an EFI partition and creating the boot configuration database inside that EFI partition, and then we'll be starting this machine. So for this you need to have the Windows installation media. That could be Windows PE or Windows RE or any full-fledged Windows installation media. So I have already inserted the Windows 10 installation media. I will be restarting in that, and then we're going to perform formatting. So just restart, power, restart. Boot from the DVD. Okay, so over here press Shift F10 to go to the command prompt, and what you need to do over here is we need to go to disk part for formatting the partition, disk part, and select disk 0. If you see a list disk, I have only one disk, and that is 50 GB, and I have selected that, and it is you can see over here also the GPT star is not coming. It means it's MBR. If I do list partition, I can see two partitions. One is the recovery partition, other is the main OS partition, the boot partition. So I need to select partition 1. Now if I do list partition, you can see that star is appearing. That means that partition is selected. If I say DETPAR for see the details, you can see it is the active partition and partition type is 7. Now I will be formatting this and formatting to FAT32. So for formatting, quick formatting, and file system equals to FAT32, and that got formatted. So if again I do detail partition, you're gonna see that this is type is 0C, and it is marked as hidden. You keep it hid. It's marked as active. You keep it active or inactive. It doesn't make much difference. Now what we need to do is we need to exit out of here because we have formatted this as a blank partition. We need to create the boot configuration database for EFI. So for that we have a command line utility called as bcd boot. If you want to see the help /?, you can see how to use it. So bcd boot, the partition where you have Windows installed, /s where you are going to install the boot configuration database and /f UEFI. So the third syntax we'll be using. So bcd boot d:/windows /s c: and /f UEFI. So you can see the boot configuration database got created. If I do dir c:, you're gonna see that EFI file got created. So that's all. Now I can just simply restart the machine. And now after restarting, when I go to the I forgot to mention one thing. It was in legacy BIOS mode. You need to go to the firmware settings and convert it to UEFI. So I just need to shut down this virtual machine. For you, if it is a physical machine, you need to go to firmware settings and change the boot mode from legacy BIOS to UEFI. So that we do over here by going on to settings and firmware and going to system and enable EFI and click on OK and start the machine. Okay, so hopefully now it will start. So previous method also was working pretty much fine, but the most of the problems were according to the guys they were having in conversion, that if they have some kind of logical partition, they had to delete that, because when you're converting from MBR to GPT, it should have maximum 3 primary partitions, and the 4th partition that gets created is the EFI partition. But in this case, even if you have legacy partitions, even if you have the logical partitions, you don't need to delete them, or you don't need to convert them to primary partitions. So let's this machine come up, and then we'll be seeing the system settings, that what it is. It's legacy BIOS or UEFI. So as you can understand that we already converted to UEFI and got booted, so it will be definitely UEFI. So if I go to run and msinfo32, and now you're gonna see that it is BIOS mode with UEFI. So it's working fine. If it is also working fine for you, if it doesn't work, just post in the comment section below your machine configuration. So hope you like this video. If you have any other questions or comments, please post in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.